Hi everyone, welcome to Dave's Bonsai. On today's episode, a little timber action, and the weather just can't decide what it wants to do. Welcome into the passive solar green frame, everyone. Boy, the weather does not know what it wants to do. We got 79 in the PSGF right now, mid to lower 70s out there. The sun finally came out after days of gray and rain, and there's more rain coming tonight. Maybe even a thunderstorm or a tornado watch to be announced, maybe just south of where I live. Let's hope it stays a little bit south. We do need some more rain though. I think we're getting rid of all our drought though with the rain we've had. We're going to talk about rainwater in a little bit. But first, it's the 30th of April, and just 10 days ago, it was not 80 in the PSGF or even close to 70 outside.
It's April the 20th, but the weather feels more like, well, February, maybe January. Yeah, I'm in my garage because I wanted to check my trees. So these are all the Japanese maples that have opened up this spring. Some in the PSGF, some just recently outside on the benches. But we hit 30 degrees this morning. And there's even some snow on the ground, just a few little flakes. So I had to protect the trees. I just didn't want these fresh new buds to go to waste. It just looks cold outside. Let's take a look at the benches real quick. Oh, big gust of wind. The trees are okay. Yeah, the wind chime is telling us the wind is hefty. Yeah, it's a cold day. And so it's kind of hard to work on trees outside. Of course, I have the glorious PSGF, so I can go in there and work. But today's not a work day in the PSGF because I can't work on bonsai trees today. I have to work on these other trees. So right behind me is a ginormous ash tree. Look at that ash tree. Now, that ash tree has to come down because it's got the ash disease, the bug, the emerald ash borer. Yeah, look at all the remnants of the tree on the ground. All the bark because the woodpeckers have been gnawing at this thing. You can see kind of woodpecker holes in the tree here. And this thing all the way up has lost its bark. It was about 25% dead last year, 20 to 25%. And so guess what? Today is the day we get to take a tree down. But it's not that one. That one's for a different day because it's complicated, it's near the house, it's in the backyard, and it's gonna take, well, a lot of money or a lot of patience. But let's see what's happening today. Now, losing a bonsai tree is pretty sad. When I have as many trees as I have, you know, sometimes it's not as big of a deal as others. But this guy has been dying for the last year or two as well, and we never acted soon enough to do the treatments. This is an ash tree in my front yard, and this tree is gonna come down in the next few hours. Look at the beautiful tree. Stunning. There was some death a couple years ago there, and then look at all that back budding. Now, they say sometimes with these disease trees, when you get all that back budding, that means there's a problem. But I was pretty pumped about that back budding because we'd have new lower branches. Unfortunately, the emerald ash borer bug has wreaked its havoc, and it's time to go. The truck's in place. The saw has been started. Cameras are rolling. Backside, gonna weaken the tree. Here it comes. There's the first crack. Here we go. Another crack. Timber! So it's a couple hours later, and look what's gone on here in the front yard. Yeah, the tree is down. The tree was right there. That is a big base. And we've got a big pile of trees right here, or tree limbs, I should say, all cut up. We'll clean those up. A lot of fine branches that'll be burnt in the fire in the backyard over the course of the next several months. We got some cleanup to do, even some more over here on the other side of the driveway. So, a job well done. My thanks to my friend Scott Nelson, who helped us take this beast down. Didn't take too terribly long. It's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. He was here about 10. So we got this done in under 3 hours. Well, done in the sense that it's down, it's out of the road, safe for everybody to drive by, and now we've got some work to do. So there's a couple of stumps though that I saved specially for the backyard. Let's go check those out. As we approach the passive solar green frame, we've got a couple of logs out there. The fire is going. We're getting rid of some of the wood piles that we have, and we're gonna have a lot of wood for a while. But I saved these two. A little bit of damage on that one on the left, rolling it down the hills. But this is the fun one right here. We get this one set up, and it's got a great quote-unquote nabari on the bottom of it. I'm just not sure we're gonna put this one yet. There, look at that. How's that gonna be for a stand, huh? We'll get a bonsai right on there. And that one will be a taller one. It's pretty wide, but I've got some big trees now, so we'll have a place to put some of our more big trees. So that is a stump that'll go somewhere in the garden, maybe to replace a couple of current bonsai pedestals. Oh boy, that's a great day. It's a great day's work, and we're only just beginning. So we got a lot of work to do. And then next, we're gonna talk about where I'm gonna place a new thing I got for the PSGF.
A lot of work still to do with the down ash tree. Yeah, we have the other one to do, but we're gonna do that slower and throughout the year, maybe in pieces, parts, try to save a few bucks, but we'll probably end up having most of it done because it's kind of a beast and probably a little bit too dangerous for us to get all of that thing down. But my friend Scott will probably come back out and help us for sure. So a lot of burning to do. Got to put some tree branches and limbs in certain spots yet, and there's still more to cut up even. We'll get to that in a bit. But now we've got some things to show you. That's right. So just a few days before we downed the ash tree, I got something from a friend. So my buddy Steve from the Minnesota Bonsai Society called me one day and said, "Hey Dave, do you still want a water container to store some rainwater?" Absolutely. Looking for an IBC, right? He was talking to a friend in a store, or actually just a stranger in the store. The guy says, "Well, I have a big tank." I called this guy, and he was coming to my neck of the woods that day I called him, and he said he would drop it off in my driveway. How can you beat that? And the total price out the door, or in my driveway, I should say, $100. I leveled off the rocks to get a sense of where I wanted to put the new IBC water storage tank and kind of leveled it off as best I could. But then I had to find my leftover cinder blocks. Well, yeah, they were holding up some trees still. So I had to move the trees out of the way, move the wood out of the way, move the cinder blocks out of the way, bring those out, and then try to hunker down those things into the gravel, right? Put some gravel around them, put them all in a nice row, lined them up, got that on there, and leveled it off, and it's all ready for water. So now all that's left to do is to get my gutter system figured out here on the back of the PSGF. So the water will go into the IBC and I will have rainwater upon rainwater. I need to get some gutter systems going, but there's still other work to be done. Not only do I have the IBC to work through, I also have to figure out kind of an irrigation system, a sprinkler system for inside the PSGF, not just outside when I'm where? on my road trip. Hey, if you haven't heard about the road trip, check out episode number 400. That's right, I'm heading east of the Mississippi, and I'm going to tackle about 8 to 10 of the bonsai gardens on a website that had the top 25 bonsai gardens in the U.S. And I'm going to see some of you along the way. If you'll have me, I want to talk bonsai. I want to see your garden. I want to crash your bonsai world. I hope you let me. I've already had a fantastic response, and I have about a half a dozen to a dozen people who have said, hey, maybe we can work something out. I think it's closer to a dozen now, so that's fantastic. If you want to get in touch with me, bonsaiacres@gmail.com. So I'm going to be traveling, and when I'm traveling, guess what? I need my sprinkler system to take care of all my trees, because I'm at over 100 now, and I can't ask my wife to water them, and my family members once in a while, but it's just too much work. So I work on a sprinkler system to get it going. So I need also a misting system so I can keep this area relatively cool on the hot days when I'm traveling, probably in around the middle of summer. I can't let this thing bake. And I don't have any electronic buttons on my phone to open up the door and let more air in and out and all that. So I'm gonna need to spray a little water in here, one, to keep the trees wet, but also just cool down the environment. So what am I gonna do? Well, I have a sprinkler system that I purchased that's gonna go inside the PSGF. I put up what used to be an old dog lead piece of wire that went from east to west. And then I put the hose onto that with the clamps that they provided, and then I stuffed into the drip system part where the water's gonna come through. Everything's tight on here, but then I discovered a little bit of an issue. I'm in the beginning phases of hanging the drip hose. Got this cable all set up, it's gonna be taut pretty soon, but I thought I would cap off the end. And the end, I just cut to my 11-foot length, and I have to have a cap on there so the water comes in, stops at the end point, creates pressure, and sends the water out. So here, right here, is the end. And this figure 8 that I just threw on the ground, this figure 8 is supposed to, according to the picture on the box for this drip irrigation system, this figure 8 is supposed to sit right there. Like that. That ain't gonna hold any water back. I need a plug. My finger would work. I could duct tape it me better than this. And the figure 8 they have in the picture goes like this. Like, I gotta go email the company and figure this out. And so when I contacted the company, they said you gotta do it this way. You stick the tubing through the figure 8, kink the tubing, and stick it through the figure 8 on the backside on the way back. They say that's going to keep it from dripping. I'm a bit skeptical of this. I don't think that's going to hold the water, so I might have to come up with some kind of plug, but we'll see. It's pinched pretty tight. I don't know if it's solid though. It all depends upon how much pressure is coming through. There is a pressure gauge on the other end, and I hope that pressure gauge keeps it so it's not like too forceful of pressure. Otherwise, that's going to be spraying water everywhere in here. But these right here should spray water as well, and we should be in good shape. So I put in the spray holes, I got the hose all in there, everything is attached in here. We just have to turn on the hose and give this a little try. So before we leave today, that's what we're gonna do. So I drilled a hole that was gonna hopefully fit my 2-inch PVC extra pipe that I found the other day. There we go. So once I got the hole dug, I kind of mismeasured the hole on the inside, but I patched that up with some wood and everything is good now. The PVC pipe is through. I was able to stick the tubing on through to the outside. Now all we have to do is hook it up and see if it's going to work.
So here is the tube coming out of the PSGF. I'm gonna cut this about here eventually, but I just wanna see if this is all gonna work. So we'll cut this off, we'll cap it off in the wintertime, but for right now, this is the pipe going into the sprinkler system. Everything is connected except for this piece right now, right here. So this is the pressure system that kind of takes the pressure from your hose and kind of monitors it. So it's maybe not so really super powerful and gonna just wreak havoc on everything. So we just apparently just plug this in right here, or that's what the directions say. And that's a stop point. And then it's gonna go in here, come in here and go into the PSGF and then squirt out. Now I have no idea how that's gonna squirt out because I haven't set those yet. So now let's go turn the water on maybe. I'm inside the PSGF ready to turn on the water. Now the water is on way up there. So what am I gonna do? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the hose just outside the door here and I'm gonna kink it and put a rock on the hose kinked. I'm gonna go turn on the water and the water pressure will be there. And then when I'm standing here, I get to see when you see, when I unkink it, how the water pressure is gonna be. So I wanna make sure this is where it needs to be. Okay, now these can be tight or loose. I'm gonna go halfway. They can be all the way open, all the way closed. I'm going halfway. I have no idea what that's even gonna do, but we're gonna give it a whirl. Okay, so I'm gonna kink the hose, turn on the hose. We'll be back in just a moment. Okay, I am by the PSGF. You can hear the noise in the hose. Let's go. Whoa. Move the camera back. We're getting splashed. Ooh, that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of water. Woo-wee. I better turn that down. I turned it down to almost all the way off and then turned it back on. And that's a lot of water still. I better turn it off now. Okay, I'm in the PSGF and that was a lot of water. And now it's so humid in here, the fans are going off. I see the problem. All of the screw-on caps were shot right off of the system. So that's just a little bit too much water. I wonder if I'm gonna find all the caps. We'll dig around for those and give you an update. So the kit I came with had enough for I think 10 spouts. I only used 5, so I have some extra ones right here. Just gotta see if I can get them off of here. There we go. And we're gonna put a new screw on. I think I have to keep it in tight, really tight, because the hole is down here, not anywhere in there. But I think I need to keep that a little bit tighter. All right. So now I've closed them all off tight, and I'm gonna go turn the water in again, just ever so slightly. We'll move the camera back and we'll try again. Ah, yes. There we have a nice fine mist. So now I'm not even being sprayed right here. We've got a mist right here. We got a mist right there. We got a mist right there. And then this one is right here. Now the mists are supposed to go as much as 2 feet left to right. And we're pretty close. Looks more like a good solid foot. So I don't know if I open these up a little bit more. No, that narrows it. And this makes it widest. So closed means the widest. So all my trees are hopefully gonna get soaked from this watering here. Now I've got the big 40-year-old ficus over here. That's not getting much spray, so I'd have to move everything onto this shelf or make sure this is outside, which it will be in the summer by the other sprinklers. But some of my ficus trees, I want to get some aerial roots, so they'll all be right here. So this ficus right here is getting really nice and wet. We got the windswept elm tree here. That's getting nice and wet. The trees up front are getting a little bit moister as well. So this is nice to be standing right here and not being doused like I was before when we had water coming all the way to this side. First time I've ever set one of these up though. Oh, and by the way, not even a drip of water in the figure 8 clamp. Who'da thunk?
So we have this beautiful misting system that's getting these trees nice and watered. So when I go on a vacation, I can turn this thing on automatically. And that's the key, and that's coming up on the next video. This is so fun. The fan's on because it's really humid in here. I think I better go turn off the water. This is great. Let me get closer with the camera for you though. So I moved up a little bit. I don't know if that helps you see. Here's the mist coming from this guy right here. Getting this guy real good. The mist right here. The mist right here. All the trees up there are getting a little wet. There we go. So I don't need to turn the hose on very high at all for this particular system. Now my sprinklers outside with the big trees need full blast sprinkler, but then this one, I know I can keep it at a much less pressure. So if I have two spigots coming out of the main spigot, I can have one really nice and small and one really full blast, and I'll be able to have both systems used with one hose system. We are in good shape. Hey, I'm gonna go turn these off, but I'm also gonna end the show right here. How we're gonna work this from my vacation and my road trip, well, that's all in the next one. I can't wait to show you what we're gonna use for that. So hey, until then, take care of you, take care of your bonsai, and we're gonna catch you on the next one. A little drier, perhaps.